What's up, everyone? Thanks for joining me for Real Talk NFT. You know my amazing co-host, Joe. And we have a really special guest here for you today. Is the CEO, the co-founder of Freedom Factory. And they're building something very unique in the NFT space that we're really excited to talk about. It's the Degen 1. It's the world's first on-chain everyday carry. It runs the ETH operating system, the mobile operating system. Really want to learn more about it. Want to know exactly what the everyday carry stands for and exactly what it does. But we have Marcus, the CEO, on here to answer all those questions. Thanks again for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Awesome. Marcus, definitely want to dive deep into what you're building here and all about Freedom Factory and this everyday carry device. But tell us a little bit about your background. How'd you get started in blockchain and Web3?
Oh, that's a good question. Basically, when I finished high school, me and my friends had already worked on a couple projects together, so we knew each other very well. And we were like, yeah, let's just try building some things together. And so we iterated through one thing and another. And we ended up basically, I was looking for Twitter, and one guy was writing about this new EIP that just released, which basically increased or enabled a burn on fees for Ethereum, where it would then increase the user experience. And I was like, oh, Ethereum, I had no idea that you have smart contracts. Let me just look into this. So I had a 15-hour bus drive coming up. So I just downloaded the Solidity handbook and just started going through the code, just trying to get a feel for it. And then we decided, hey, let's make a decentralized music platform where, artists can get paid much more because it's all decentralized, and creators can have NFTs and tokens and all that jazz. And then we writing that, we wanted to make a mobile app, and we because people want to listen to music on the go, and so people we really noticed how bad the experience was for us to create this mobile app. Plus, the experience for the user was also really horrible. So we ended up coding a lot, pages of code to get this working, just for the user to have a bad experience as well. And so we're like, okay, we should probably fix this somehow. And we were just at a roadblock because we're like, okay, the OS just doesn't embrace Ethereum. So, and because the incumbent operating systems just see Ethereum as just another app, you can't have very good experiences with Ethereum. And so I was scrolling Twitter one day, and one guy was like, hey, we need an Ethereum operating system because the current mobile experience sucks. And it resonated with me because I knew exactly what he was talking about. And so I was like, I answered on this tweet like, hey, sounds like a nice weekend project for me to do. And so that's how we got started. And I just DM'd him. We got a Discord set up, and that's and then we just organically grew. We then sorry. I'm just gonna keep it at my background.
Yeah.
I was just coding for fun since I'm very early on. I learned coding in high school as well, but I didn't stop at high school. I went home and coded more, and it's just fun for me. So that's my background.
Are you more in just the developer, everything and love everything about smart contracts and just the developer work of Web3, and obviously you're a builder, or do you invest in some of these projects as well?
I don't really invest. Also, when I started right out of high school, I didn't really have any money. So my sort of investing was not investing money because it didn't have any, but investing my time, right? So
Sure.
I had a lot of time. So I just so I still remember one funny thing. I bought an ENS domain because I thought it was cool, and then gas fees were so high at the time, and I spent $100 on this ENS name. And right after buying it, I got buyer's remorse. I was like, why did I just buy this for $100? Why did I do this? And but it's a cool ENS domain that I still own and still have as my username everywhere. But a month after the ENS, announced their airdrop, and I was like, whoa, what the fuck? I just that was just the best $100 I ever invested. And so it was just but investing, more like building than investing for sure.
Man, those were the glory days when we got that ENS airdrop. Joe, I don't know if I had a lot of ENS names. And when I got that airdrop, I felt like, man, this got me out of a lot of jams. I fired it right back into some fun stuff. But what's your ENS name?
It's mhaas.eth. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Tell
Yeah,
us a little bit. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
no, I didn't get any ENS names because, Marcus, I worked for 11 years prior to Web3 in the domain name industry with big corporations handling the domain name. So when I saw ENS, I'm like, I spent my first part of my life doing that, so I'm not going to buy anymore. And I missed the boat.
Damn. Yeah.
I got some crazy ones out there. I need to go back. I mean, I bought some for like 4 or 5 years and I have no idea what, that was a crazy time, that ENS little craze. And, it is what it is. But so let's get back to what we're here to talk about. What's a mobile carry device or everyday carry device, and how's that build? This is Gen 1. I want to call it a phone, but what are we talking about here?
It's not a phone. And the reason for this, like we've been building this for 3 years now. And so how we got started was we just developed an OS. We created a website where people could like bring their own device and then install it on their device. And that came with difficulties because people, you had to get a specific device. It had to be bootloader unlockable. And some carriers would just lie about it. And then we were just like, okay, what we can do, let's start doing that. We would just like buy pixels ourselves, repackage them, flash our OS on it, and then send it to people. So, people don't have to deal with it. They're just like ordering them from us. And so we did one batch of that with a Nouns collaboration. So we did like a Nouns X ethOS device where that went really well. We sold out the batch in like 24 hours. And then we did a second batch of that in April where we sold 200 devices and they also went really quickly. And with that sale, we already then we realized it's pretty difficult to get Pixel 7a seriously because mass sellers aren't really supposed to do that. And so we were like, okay, we need to do what we had in mind at the beginning of it already, having custom hardware. We're like, okay, let's do custom hardware. Let's do a custom phone. And so we reached out to some phone manufacturers. They send us a black slab. And we're just like, well, this kind of fucking sucks. And it's super boring. And nobody's going to replace their iPhone with this or their Android with this because, yeah, it's just much worse. And so we're like, okay, we have a problem. But then we were thinking about it and we're like, maybe this is an opportunity to create the best secondary device, an everyday carry, or EDC for short, that people just have in their back pockets, breast pocket, purse, or backpack. And then just, anytime they want to do something crypto on the go or at home, they just pull out this device, the Degen 1, and they can do it in there. And by making a secondary device, we then realized, hey, we can make it fun. We can make it, it doesn't have to be a black slab. We can make it exciting, and it doesn't have to be boring. And so we went with this new form factor for the device. And we really wanted to make it retro futuristic with a high quality luxury look. And I think we came up with something really fun and exciting. So yeah, the goal was basically, to cut it short, if this device is among phones on a table and you have a kid walking up to this table to pick one, it will pick this device. It was the goal of us. And so that's how we came about creating the Degen 1. It was just hey, let's make a fun device. And this is the Degen 1, our first generation, and it's our first step in our journey for our big mission that we call self-sovereign hardware. But yeah, I can talk more about that later if you want.
Yeah, we could definitely talk about that. I was curious of how the first reactions were. We saw first reactions from people seeing the visual phone. Has there been people testing it, utilizing it, and what maybe surprised you? Everyone ran over to this dApp. It was super exciting to use. And what's been the biggest feedback so far?
Yeah, so with this device, this is still a prototype, so it doesn't turn on. And we're still developing the OS for that.
Ah,
But we do have ethOS, the OS that already exists and
right.
people use, and I use as my daily driver right now. And so learnings from that were pretty funny. Basically, I wanted to make it the UX as seamless as possible. So first thing I wanted to do was remove the chain ID, like switching chains. I was like, the wallet, let's just make it so that the wallet is on every chain at the same time, and the user doesn't even have to like, because it's like so annoying if you're on a dApp and you have to like, oh yeah, I need to switch chain out to Base, or no, I need to switch chain out to Polygon, and it's like, no, your wallet should just be on that chain automatically. And so I did that, and then people started getting confused, like very confused, because they've been using the current system so much that
Right.
when they launched the dApp, they were like, okay, where can I switch the chain now? Where can I do this? I'm like, you don't have to, it's already done. And so, but yeah, we actually had to like add like a thing to like switch the wallet on top. It's like switching Wi-Fi on our device. You're switching chains like that. And so it was like, okay, let's do that for now. But our main goal is like, we need to like educate the user as well and get to have like those UX increases as well without any confusion.
I think it's great what well, first off, I think the retro design speaks to me, speaks to my childhood. It's just a cool product. And I have 4 kids. And absolutely, if I put that down on my countertop, they would grab it immediately and probably know how to work it better than I could ever dream. But so it doesn't have any phone capabilities. It's definitely for like all on-chain activity. It's running the ETH operating system you built. So give me some ideas of like just like everyday uses you see people utilizing this device for.
Right. So this device is definitely for the degenerates. We talk like with people that do a lot of transactions. And
Yeah.
by a lot of transactions, I mean, aping into the newest meme coins on a new L2 that just launched on that very day. So it's like, oh, Blast launched today. Let's just put in $500 into some random meme coins and let's spread, spray and pray. And so for us, and they, they were like, for us, it was like on the device, it's like really bad on your current device. And we're like, hey, let's make it, very easy to do a transaction. And that's really the goal with that. It's like anything crypto just works. It's, awesome user experience. Another thing that we see with this device for sure is gaming. So for example, if you're on your iPhone or Android, if you're playing an on-chain game and you have to like pause the game anytime you want to like switch over to your wallet to sign a transaction, sign a message, or connect even, that's just like very bad, and it breaks up this experience. And so with our device, we want to enable new experiences by breaking up this mold that the big tech companies have put us in.
I love the design. I love the name, Degen 1. I have this. I ordered the Solana Saga phone. I ordered a BitBoy. I'm definitely ordering the Degen 1 because it stands out visually, but also because I see it as something that will help interactions. Like every day, you can utilize it for an actual use case, right? I don't have to carry it around and pretend it's like a phone. Talk to us about your big mission. You said you had a big mission that you see in the future for this product or an iteration of it. What is that?
Yeah. So our big mission with custom hardware is what we call self-sovereign hardware. So, actually last year I wrote a small little like brain fart blog post about it. And it was like, we really need this and let's work towards it. And with self-sovereign hardware, what I mean is like stopping being reliable upon like centralized APIs, centralized services, and moving everything local first. So for example, like with this device, we're gonna try putting a local LLM model on it where, if you sign a transaction, for example, on your ledger, you don't know what you're signing, first of all. And so if you want to know what you're signing, you actually have to get a new plugin that connects to the internet. And so at the end of the day, you're just trusting their API to tell you correctly what is happening and not scamming you. And with the local LLM, we can just put it in there and you don't have to rely on any API. It's just like ask the system API, like the system local LLM, like gives it the parameters of the transaction and then just like ask it to create like a short description of what this transaction does. And so this is like a huge security upgrade because number one, you don't need an API. Number two, you don't need an internet connection to sign a transaction and knowing what you're signing, right? Which is just a huge upgrade. Number two, like, yeah, self-sovereign hardware, we're like thinking of some fun things. Like, for example, we want to put an FM radio transmitter in it. So like one guy was like telling us, yeah, exactly. One guy was like telling us like, hey, you still need, with all these features, you still need an internet connection to publish transactions. And I was like, well, do you? Like, what if you put an FM transmitter in it, FM radio transmitter, and then, if you don't have internet and you want to publish a transaction, it just goes through the FM radio antenna that you have in your device, where, it'll just publish it to other degens that have internet connection, or like relay it to one that does, and then just push the transaction. It's just, this is like one of the funny little things like that we come up with, but like definitely a big thing is like completely open source software plus hardware. So hardware is like the big hard thing to do. Open source software, we already have that. But like if you have an open source hardware device plus software, you can just audit and verify everything from the CPU instruction all the way to the app. And this is just a huge security upgrade. It'll be like the best hardware wallet on earth. Because right now with ledgers, you really like go through this process of security through obscurity, where you kind of like, Ledger doesn't say how it works, but yeah, we trust Ledger that it's very secure, which is one mistake. Second mistake is Ledger, there was like this big controversy. I don't know if you guys were following this, but like they were like saying, oh yeah, we're pushing a firmware update to the ledgers where you can like back up your seed phrase, where everybody was like, whoa, your firmware update can access the private key.
Right.
And they're like, yeah. And so it's like, that's very bad, because then suddenly the security model shifts from like Ledger to like, okay, firmware update can extract the private key, to basically all of the ledgers are secured by the firmware upgrade signer key from Ledger, which, I firmly believe they hold on to it securely, but it's way too much value at stake for just one company to be like, what if Ledger is just hacked? They publish a firmware upgrade where it's just like, oh yeah, your private key was sent to a Russian server. What? That's very bad. And so like, and I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying like, it's something that could happen. And with our device, if it's open source hardware from the CPU to the app, it's like something that a user could verify. And that's like our big mission for the future.
I love what you guys are building. It looks like you've really thought it out really nicely, and taking a lot of the correct steps to build like the correct device for everyday users. I feel like, and I'm going to speak for Joe as well, I think we both are like definitely the clientele that you'd be targeting, because even like during this podcast, sometimes I feel like I'm missing like a new drop or a new like meme coin that was launched. I'm like, what's happening out there? And I've definitely been in a jam with my phone and just the interface. And then you worry about all these security issues. So definitely cool stuff. We'd like to know a little bit about, it looks like it's going to be, well, tell me a little bit about it. So where do you buy this? How do you pre-order it? And it looks like it's going to be shipping in spring of 2025.
Exactly. Yeah. You can go right now to freedomfactory.io and click buy and then mint an NFT. This NFT, we basically did the previous sales with the exact same model, where you mint an NFT, and then when we're ready to ship, you'll be able to redeem or /burn this NFT for a physical device. So the reason for that is just like, we like having this like, separation, plus it's on chain, plus there's like a secondary market for once we sell out, or if we sell out or close the sale, I mean, then people can still get it on the secondary, on OpenSea or other, NFT marketplaces.
What I guess, what's the sellout total, or when's the window closing? What are the details there?
So with the mint, We're not sure like what the exact number is yet at which we're going to close it, but we are going to close it at some point before we ship the devices. We do have like this referral system where you get a referral link, you can give it to people, and they can get 5% off. Plus, you get 5% from the sale, and that window is closing on the 1st of January. Where in that moment, on the 1st of January, we will then open up the claim. So right now, the rewards are stored on the smart contract, and then at that point you can get the rewards. But now we already have a leaderboard to actually see how many rewards you got from your discount code. So you can go to referrals.freedomfactory.io, connect your wallet, you'll see like, you got 10 referrals from your link and the earnings you made like in ETH or Degen.
I have a question going an inch deep into the blockchain world here. And I was just curious of your views about how Ethereum and or Base is nowadays in the world, in the eyes of the public, of what utilization it is versus like a Solana or a Bitcoin. A previous guest has come on here and said, you wouldn't take an airplane to your neighbors, you wouldn't take a boat, to every blockchain has purpose, right? And you obviously live in Ethereum and Base. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of your views on it, where it's going to go in the future, and why you love and enjoy it, and why you're building on Ethereum?
Yeah, I mean, I really like Ethereum because it's the most balanced decentralized compute platform with like being decentralized. And I like the L2 approach of scaling because it provides very cheap transaction fees with like very little changing the L1. Like we did implement blobs, so that's a small change on the L1. But other than that, it's all just like innovating on top of the protocol, which is pretty nice. With starting from Bitcoin, I see Bitcoin, as funny. It's the original coin, and it's like I don't want to say anything bad about Bitcoin, but it's just like I'm very interested in what they will do with like their security budget, concerns where most of the the miners are getting paid by the minting of new Bitcoins mostly. And so the transaction fees just, I think somebody said once, like to make up 2% usually on average of the miner rewards. And so, once every Bitcoin is minted in 100 years, but I mean, the rewards go down enough to make a difference. What if miners just get 2% of the original rewards? What will it do for the network? And them, yeah, I'm curious to see what they come up with because it's like a thing they need to solve for sure. Ethereum, yeah, I mean, Vitalik has a really cool like scaling, like not scaling, but like the roadmap that he like lays out, especially now on Twitter. He's like posting like blog posts about each step of the way, which I think is pretty cool. So Solana, yeah, it's for me, Solana, it's a very it's a centralized blockchain at the end of the day. It's it's fast, it's quick, it's great, cheap, I assume too, but you're not going to be able to run a Solana node at your home because you need top end hardware and the 10 gig uplink and downlink. And I think the founder is like bullish on that, the requirements being easier to get in the future, which I agree. At some point you'll have 10 gig to your home in a many years, but to be able to I'm just like it's centralized at the moment. I don't know what to say about that, honestly. It's like all I can say about that. So like for and my thinking about it is I really like L2s like Base to use for like quick things or like minting some NFT or something like that, and I don't know, selling some meme coin and bridging stuff. But like for like actual like high value stuff that I want to 100% protect, it's like still layer 1 for me, especially like still with the layer 2s not being at the stage 2 layer 2s, which they still have a way to go, right? They still have like the centralized sequencers, so they control what in what order the transactions come in, and if you get included or not. It's not censorship resistant yet, but they're working towards it, and I like that. I think they're like working on it, making transactions cheaper, and it just opens up a whole new set of use cases. Yeah. I don't
awesome.
know. I went on a long tangent now about that. Yeah.
No, that was great. We appreciate your insight because you live in this world as a developer, and we rarely get to hear that. We hear more of the degenerate side, so we definitely appreciate your take. We love Base. We love all blockchains, but I personally love Base. I love Ethereum, and yeah, glad to hear about it.
Yeah, there are definitely a lot of meme coins on Solana, though. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think the Base ecosystem is going to grow pretty quickly. I have some strong opinions about Base and what they're building, and Solana's definitely like captured the heart of like degens and meme coin traders. But there's some interesting stuff out there on Base, and I actually even see you can pre-order this the phone using a card, crypto, but the crypto is obviously Ethereum, but it looks like you can also buy it with Degen, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, so actually the checkout is pretty interesting. It uses intent addresses. So actually you don't have to use ETH on Base. You can actually use any token, any shitcoin you have, anything you have in your wallet across many layers.
Yes.
So like Base,
Yeah,
Optimism,
right?
Arbitrum, Mainnet. Yeah.
Yeah.
On that note, yeah, and also like the phone, it won't just be on Base. It'll definitely have Base support, but from the ground up, how we designed the wallet, it's like to support every EVM-based chain. So any layer 2 will work automatically with it. Any layer 1 that is EVM-based, so Ethereum obviously, then Avalanche if people want to use that, and other like layer 1s that are EVM-based will work just fine.
Yeah, so great stuff what you're building. Yeah, that's so nice that you can I can dust off some of those dusty wallets and see what I can gather together to buy. But that's just a really unique feature, and I just love how methodical you are building this, and you've been building it for a long time. It really seems like you're hitting the mark. What are the chances that we possibly see some like big collaborations or possible like airdrops connected to this? I'd imagine people building in the ETH ecosystem would be like, you got a cool device, we want to gift people X, Y, and Z, or airdrop it, I should say. Is that something? I don't want to put you on the spot, but
no.
Tell me all about
Yeah, so the thing is, we're like, when we did the sale in April, people wanted to airdrop it, but it wasn't easy. It was possible, but it wasn't very easy. And so we're like, for this sale, like, hey, let's just make like a permissionless thing where it's one address across many layer 2s, like across Base, Optimism, Arbitrum, and Mainnet. And people can just send tokens to that. And then the Degen 1 people will just get those tokens. They'll just like get their fair share of the tokens, I mean. And so we did that. And now like you can go to degen1airdrop.com. And it's a friend of ours who's hosting the site where you can see like the airdrop pool full value and the rewards per device, like with the current pool value. And so, for example, the Degen token, they already airdropped 5 million Degen into this contract. And so that's 46K, just like that. And the total pool value right now sits at 68K. And the rewards per holder is at $33.
Oh, this is cool, dude. This is really cool. I'm gonna definitely put this website in the description for everybody to take a look, because I'd only imagine this number is gonna grow. This is really neat. Yeah, I love it. I think you guys are building some really, really great stuff out here. I know Joe and I will absolutely be involved and be following it closely. Before we wrap up here, I want to give you an opportunity. I'll definitely put this degen1airdrop.com in for everybody, but I want to give you an opportunity to give a call out for if you want anybody to find you, to find Freedom Factory, kind of just give you a little call out there so we can put the links in the description below.
Yeah, so for our project, our main Twitter is just at Ethereum phone together. And if you want to find me, I'm usually more on Warpcast or Forecaster, and my username is just Marcus with a K.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just like randomly happened to be early to Forecaster. Yeah.
And obviously, it looks like you can find it on OpenSea with ones that have already been minted, but there's a lot of incentives to mint through your website. It looks like, and the 5% referrals and all that good stuff. And it looks like that's freedomfactory.io, correct?
Yes, exactly. You can go there. We have like a comprehensive website where you can like take a look what this device will do for you and the specs of this device will have, and yeah, some fun like things there.
Awesome. Marcus, we'll probably have you on again if you want to come on once this drops in spring of 2025. You're doing some great stuff. We appreciate you. And for everybody in the audience, we'll absolutely put those links below. Marcus, once again, thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was a great combo. Awesome.
Thanks.